Check. Check, check. All right. So far, I haven't lost click abilities yet. Play some audio. All right. It seems to be working. So we seem to be so far so good. It just needed a reboot, I'm guessing. Okay. Looks like we're in business. All right. So perfect. Now, as I come in here, let's make sure we're good. It looks like we're back, guys. We're back. So uninstalling Duet really solved this problem, I think. And I don't want to count our chickens, but so far this is way longer than anything else has worked. Let me pop into the mix view so you can catch that. So if you catch this, I'm using cursor. We're moving all around. Things are good. I come up to the menus. They're staying open like they should. So everything is back to normal. Just needed a reboot and an uninstall completely of that horrid program that I don't ever plan on using ever again. And it's unfortunate. If I do use it again, it'll be in a test that nobody sees. Sorry about that. So, all right. Let's see what happens. We're going to go through this thing with some VCA automation. So first things first, we're going to come in here and dump this stuff into our VCAs. So like kick and kick trigger is going to go in our kick VCA. And all this stuff gets imported for me every session. So it's super easy to dump stuff in. Snare goes on its own snare VCA. I also, that was weird. It just scared me into thinking that it didn't actually, that it was frozen again, but it wasn't. It's just a trick. Just a trick. I'm going to take that group out for a sec. So I come in here. So if I was working on a console, this is what I was going to say. If I was working on a console, I would definitely work differently than the way I work. Like I would not send stuff. You know, it's interesting to think about, but if you had like 24 faders or 32 faders and like you could put everything in the same place every time, don't have to worry about banking or anything like that, I would probably just always know, like if I want more kick, where it is, if I want more snare, where it is. But where it starts to becoming a problem is when you've got like 3 mics of kick all, sent where? To 3 faders. You don't want to have to move those all at the same time to move the kick, and you don't want to change the sound constantly. So you would use a VCA for any time you have these multiple mics. You got to go somewhere to make it easy to move with one fader. So there is a logic of, always breaking your session down to like 8 things. To me, that makes the most sense of everything. It's just always break down your session to as few faders as you can so that you have control over the whole session, and yet you also basically don't need to put hands on 3 things at once, because that's a real problem. You don't want to, if you want all the vocals to come up and you've got 6 vocals, like, lead, doubled, and all these, like you have a nice blend going. Why would you want to grab 6 faders? Like you wouldn't, as far as I'm concerned. You would want them on one fader, vocals. At least that's how I think about stuff. Now over here, these drum parallels, because they're not going to be sent pre-fader, I'm actually not going to put these in the group with the rest of the drums. I'm just going to go overhead left, overhead right, rack trigger, floor trigger. There's nothing on those tracks. It's just a duplicate of like the overhead left and the overhead right. So if I had a tom fill or something, I could break it out over there. So drums, VCA. But that's essentially what that is for. And then the bass stuff right here. Since bass all goes to these tracks, these will be my bass VCA instead of the tracks themselves. I want to just raise and lower the volume from right here instead of here, which would send more level into this, and that would be what we're hearing. They're not going anywhere else but down here. It's not like they also go here. They just go here. So let's make this bass VCA. Luckily, the clicker is working good. I'm just testing that. Like it's so weird when your mouse is bugging out on you, like how much you can't get done. You can't do nothing when your mouse is bugging out. Technology. Fun. It's fun, isn't it? Technology. So these are all the guitars. I'm just going to put all the guitars together, including the acoustics. If this doesn't work for us, we could always change something later. But for now, just do all the guitars because the blend is good. And then vocals, we've got these two vocals and these two. What else we got? We got these guys. We got these guys. Just put them all together because, again, the blend is fine. So the logic here, it's not the cool part of mixing to like group the stuff, but the better you can set this up, the easier it will be for you to work. You know, you have to come up with ways that work on like every session, so you're not always thinking about it. Flavor and then none, we don't really have use for other things. That's what's so cool. The session is simple. If you got, you know, kick, snare, and the rest of the drums, then bass on one fader, then guitars, then vocals, you're on 6 faders. Now, if we have Flavor Town, which we don't have yet, I'll dump that to the Flavor VCA. But right now, there ain't no Flavor Town in here. So I don't have a place to put that. So if I was going to do automation, I could go right now. But let's see if there's like a moment in time as I play through this thing where we may want to add a little bit of flavor somewhere. Let's check it out. And it starts out so funky. Like, I don't want to make this song a whole nother situation that's not funky. That's not what I want at all. I want to make sure that I have this this live stream popping up. Nice. We got it. We got it. We got it. All right, so I'm just checking in with the new chat over here because my phone, which was doing the chat thing, was on the old chat. So now that we're on the new chat, we'll set this up for all messages. That's where we gotta go. Beautiful. Evan, you need more faith. I have faith. I don't have faith in technology so much, but I do have faith. But with the why would we not? It's not that. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna say thank you when I appreciate stuff. You know, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Good to go. Braxel's like, I knew it would work. Yeah, no, a lot of you guys had this. This is a good call. A little interesting. I really appreciate the help too. Danny Lyrica, all you guys, awesome. Seriously, and anybody else who was a part of that last stream where we had to figure it out, we figured it out. So don't use Duet if you haven't tested it out like 6 times, because I didn't really test it. I was just like, oh, it's working, perfect, and I saw it working, and then as soon as I started to rock and roll, it froze every 2 seconds, and then it got worse where I couldn't do nothing. So here we go. We're in business. Let's go Flavor Town City. I mean, it couldn't hurt to have a little bit of flavor in our lives right now. But where we do it, I don't know. Let's listen. Braxel, if you got a piece, I understand. It's all good, man. You were around for the help, and I appreciate that. The moral support and the help and all that was very critical. I appreciate all of it. You guys are awesome. I understand anybody's got to go to bed. You know, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to do. I could already tell that it sort of works without stuff. But usually when I say that, even, there's something. Like on that second line, let's make sure we don't have anything grouped. Once you throw it in the VCA, you don't need the groups really, unless you want them for something else, like other editing purposes. But this track doesn't need to be here. But little parts of it, like I like that natural tail that's already there. But when it comes to this one, maybe we can give this a little flavor. Even that, if it starts getting in the way of the drums and the space, I'm actually not going to do it. This song, like, I'll mess with it once or see if anything works real quick, and if it doesn't feel right, I'm just going to avoid it because my gut is telling me this song doesn't really need it. Just like a little flavor like this, and maybe some of this stuff it probably doesn't need a lot of the EQ joints we got on here and stuff, but let's just hear. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna get rid of some of this stuff. We'll just leave that. We'll put Butch on there, my absolute favorite plugin of all time. One of them. For flavors, it's just so good. And then maybe so that I don't have to keep hitting it with something, like a quicker way to do it could be you just put the stuff that you want on there just right on the thing. Like in this case, we'll just put a little plate, maybe a little low cut on it, but maybe we'll kind of just use it for softening, but we'll leave it right on the track itself. The only problem now is you have to dial it better than you would if you used Audio Suite, because you can't control where it disappears completely. The plugin's going to act on the audio and do what it does. So this is a big reason why I don't like to put stuff directly on here. I like to process an Audio Suite and commit it, because then I have way more control over the fade out as well as the fade in. So many more things. Like that works. It's not bad. But for super duper control, it's way better. You come in here, you go like this. You hit it with a little plate, like whatever I just did over there, roughly something like this. And then you can really just make sure it's not even, it's not going to have no tails, no nothing as soon as I want it to. So you really get to like come in forcefully and just do what you need to it. It's just the control element is way better. So that's a really good example of why I always use Audio Suite. There's some crazy background things here. It's so in the background. I kind of like it there, though. It doesn't have to come up much. Let's bring it up a little bit. It's basically like a bunch of chipmunks. I don't know if it even needs to come up. It's kind of nice hiding back there. These chipmunks. Just bring it up 1 dB. Maybe on the run, hit it with that sweet. And I'm all about putting it in a weird place, which is why I never use the grid. Like, I'll never use the grid to place it. I mean, I might if it was a dance track or something, if it's something where you got to really make everything feel, like a windmill, like constant, like a washing machine, like whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe it helps. But if just be careful. If it's a little early or late, it's going to make it feel weird. Now this, we're just going to do something on this crazy word here. And I don't know exactly what we need to do yet. Maybe some pitch shift. My gut's telling me, like Alter Boy, one of my favorite plugins of all time. Definitely should win some awards. Thanks, Brax. Take it easy, man. Danny Lyrica, I appreciate you sticking around for the beginning, too. This is going to be a relatively short stream, so I really appreciate that, man. The guitar part, it's funky in there. It's funky, man. And oh, Danny, you're not dipping out. You're just saying peace to Braxel. Now I got you. I appreciate. We gotta, like, I'm thinking about. It almost sounds okay, but it definitely sounds like a frog. And maybe we want to just make it sound less like right. Shift it once and then pitch shift it again. Nice. Start to get to crazy territory. And I'm not even sure if we want these higher pitched rights because they sort of make it. Maybe we'll shift this one too. Now, you don't always need a new track to shift stuff. I break the clip and then I could always drag it back, and I got my old one, so it's not like you ever lose it. Your old one's still going to be there. I like how it just sounds a little more eerie, a little more weird, sinister. Now this one is not a thing of paste, like wherever it was, I kind of want it. So somewhere close anyway. I don't want them to sound like a flam. All right, in context. That don't mean it ain't. Ribbit. That don't mean it ain't. Ribbit. Doesn't need that one. It's another high one. It just maybe on the outer space, because there's a nice amount of space there. No pun intended. There's some space after the outer space. Maybe I'll take it from this one or another track, but it's kind of a very like desperate sounding vocal, which is interesting. I don't hate that. Let's put it on this track with some Little Plate Love. Make it sound like it's in another galaxy. And maybe hit it with some Echo Boy, perhaps. So, I mean, these are just my go-tos. I used to use H delay for years until I just started loving Echo. if you do use H delay, make sure you mess with modulation. Just, you can get real trippy with the modulation. So it's one of the cool things about this plugin is that ability. A little too trippy, but still pretty cool. Potentially a little too trippy. And this is, usually I'll do delay into reverb. Basically take your delay from making it so static and give it a little bit of like cushion, you know, soften it up a little like reverb does. Whereas, you know, delay without reverb is often too dry. It just sounds like weirdly dry. But in this case, I did it in the reverse order. Yeah, and I'm thinking it's better without it. The spaciness exists without it. I might hit it with a little of it just because it is weird, but we'll crank that up. Let's hear it. This in front, we want space in front, in front. We don't want the S sound. I like the in front. Don't ask me why, it just sounds kind of cool. We're gonna in front this up a little bit right here. In front. I don't want it to mess with the groove too much though, so if I do use it, it's got to be in the exact right place. I'm hearing something in my head where I, you know, just... Yeah, it's getting in the way of the coolness of that riff. The riff is the star of this show. So I just made it way lower. Don't stare at the sun for too long, boy. Your brain will melt. There's nowhere to run from the pain you felt. 'Cause once they... Yeah, it doesn't need a whole lot. This is definitely a song where I could already see myself doing like as little as I can possibly do with flavor, which is hardly any. Hardly any. Maybe a little crystallizer. Dull 23 echoes. You know, you already know where that's where I'm headed. Dull 23. This is one of my favorite sounds. Just get it way lower. Just It doesn't look like there's much audio there, but it's there. If I juice up the goose up, you see how it's just sitting there? But that's, you know, right now it doesn't look like much, but it's there. Just maybe the word parallel potentially. Hit it with the reverb first, then this crystallizer. Ooh, I almost forgot. And this is going to separate the men from the boys right now. A little auto pan. You cannot make your flavor tracks without some panning. Pan those things. Make it move. And slow down the movement. Will you slow down the movement? Just a little outer space. You know, if I put it, see, this is why I'm not doing it on the run, but like, I'm sure it'll work because it could, like, anything works if you dial it right enough, right? But I don't want to put something here because the riff starts so close to the run that there's not a lot, like, one has to take over occupy your mind. And I want the riff to occupy the mind instead of this. Like, that works, but it's taking my brain power away from the riff. It's not terrible, but it, you know. I don't know if it needs it. It can be there if it's super quiet and maybe a little bit wet. It'll get out of our way even more. But I still think the riff is the winner. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move it to here. Instead of outer space, we're going to have the run going on where the outer space is. That's the spot that actually makes more sense, I think. Let's. Maybe that, or maybe the word outer space. I'm just going to duplicate this track and then have another shot for a place to put stuff is really the only reason I do that. In case I want to audition two things. They'll both be live and I'll mute one and unmute one, that kind of thing. So where's the word outer space? So maybe we'll do something on the outer space word. Hit it with a little verb and then some crystallize. Too crazy. Too crazy. Let's go to this jam. Yeah, you're not really going to hear the outer space because there's just so much going on here. Like, it even sounds cool to just have it filtered and nothing on it. It's a little Bowie. I'll take that. Maybe just a little plate. Call it a day. But it still is distracting me from the riff, so we got to make it very low. Now we know it's there, but it'll be there, but hidden. I like that. What's next? Where's our in front? We don't want the S on the in front. It's like space in front. There's an S in the beginning. Okay, try this guy. I'm looking up here. That's where it is. So if I want it after it, I got to error towards the end of that phrase. If you've got two auto pans, change the speed of one compared to the other. Make one a little faster than the other. We're going to do this late. We want a little bit of breathing. One of these vocals is just going, ah. Where's that? We're going to grab one of these. Let's just grab one of these and just make it sound like a whole plate of goodness underneath it. So extending the plate for a crazy long time underneath this thing. It should start to build right when that starts. Similar thing, just a crazy long plate. Maybe we'll hit it with this weirdness. No, it's moving it too much. Maybe the word run. There's not going to be much more of this. We're closing in on what I would call good enough for this Flavor City part of this, and then we'll go right to automation. Because like I said, I'm sort of when you're enjoying the track, don't just like make it where you work on it so long until you don't enjoy it anymore. Kind of hit it the done with the same thing. That kind of worked. Something like that. Maybe not all that. Maybe we, instead of the dotted eighths, we hit it with. We'll see how that goes. I blended the 16th dotted into the 8th dotted, like faded down the middle of it. You ever try that? I don't know if it helps, but it might. Removed it. And that's it. There's no more lyrics. So right there, this is our end of the song. So whatever happens. Somewhere here-ish. I don't know what we're going to do yet. It's kind of a cool low note, but where's the high ones? Let's grab a higher one. Let's grab one of these. Maybe just on the space, have this pop into town. It starts like after it. Flipping it backwards to go the other way for some of it might be cool, might suck. Either way, we're about to be done with the Flavor City. kind of sucked. And that's, you gotta, so much experimenting goes on with this. All right, we're good. Doesn't need anything here for sure. It's just like a waste, all this. Anything here, the riff is cool enough. Whatever's being auto-tuned, I don't know if we need that right here at the end. Like, it's kind of a little unnecessary there. Maybe? It might be unnecessary there. And this plugin, if I'm not mistaken, does make a noise when you take it on or off. But that's my initial thought, is let's just bypass the thing at the end. Just want to see if this makes it better or worse. It could make it worse, but I'm just going to create these two tracks with nothing on them. I just duplicated those. I'm going to come in here and just like take all the plugins on them off. So we just created like another two tracks really. Maybe the pan we'll leave on, little auto pan. And at that moment, I grouped those down below. So when you group stuff, you can paste the group. So like down here, high voc, like if I was copying these two, I copy that, I come up here, I see where my arrow is, so I know that if I come here, it's just in the same place, it'll paste them both at once. I kind of like that because these aren't, what do you call it? They're not auto-tuned. So even though they exist like more than once, now there's a version that's tuned and a version that's not. So it takes a little of the attention away from the tuned one. And I may even do this again, actually. With the other track, there's some other one. I don't know. It's like mid vocs, mid lows. So we did that high one. We didn't do this one. I'll just grab that. Now I could also audition it without the tune there at all, because these are tuned and so are these. So I could just get rid of that. And now let's hear it. More eerie, yeah. I don't like hearing the notes move and kind of click into place. I don't like that. So on something like this, that's just literally a drop, like it's just a straight bend off a cliff. Like, why tune it? It's kind of meant to be all over the place. So it works better without the tuning for these couple. Just this ending here. And simultaneously, they're being panned, so they kind of sound a little weirder, and I'll maybe mess with the timing on some of these to make them even more different. Okay, now we're good to go. This whole ending is just a trip, and we're going to let that exist on its own. If you haven't heard that ending yet, it's just trippy. It's crazy. It's just... Usually endings are good places for, like, taking this craziness here and just throw it in anywhere, and, like, you know, all bets are off. You take the thing, you could spin it backwards if you want. It's already open. Where's the reverse? Where are you, reverse? Where are you, reverse? Here we go. Reverse. We'll spin it. We'll come in here. We'll hit it with a crazy amount of little plate. Outer space. How fitting. Perfect. Nice, a little outer space. And then we'll flip it again. Maybe we'll even hit it with something like the Galaxy Tape Echo or this thing. But now all of a sudden we got this. It just adds some weirdness. I gotta admit, I start having a lot of fun when I do this stuff. And, like, there's a reason I do flavor tracks a lot. It's because I have fun doing them. They're so much fun. Like... It's that Pink Floyd for you, man. You gotta Pink Floyd up sometimes. You can't not Pink Floyd up. Who are we? Who do you think you are? You can't not gonna Pink. You gotta Pink Floyd up. I never hit the reverse on these things because it processes the stuff differently. So I always use the reverse plugin to do it. because it's I don't know. I can't tell you exactly why, but the reverse never does what I want it to do. Whereas when I hit the thing with the generic reverse, this guy, reverse. That's what I'm looking for. Just a nice reversal. Where's our plate? Outer space. Outer space has been working for us. We'll do airspace too. We'll mess around. Kind of like how the real scream goes into that. A little too real. A little too real. Hold on. Let's hit it with something. A little 16th note dotted. And maybe a touch of a little plate. Just a touch. Yeah, we're about to be at the end of this craziness. This is where Galaxy Tape does so well when you don't quite like have exactly what you're like. You don't know exactly what you're looking for. You just know you want something weird and you want like some spaceships and whatnot. Man, Galaxy Tape is your best friend. I hope anybody took advantage of the Galaxy Tape sale. That was going. It wasn't even a sale. It was like a free plugin. I picked up a plugin for that thing. The 64 Vibe, some like guitar and amp emulation thing. It was the only one I didn't have on the list. I had everything else that was part of the freebies, so I had no choice but to grab that. And I'm not typically a dude who uses amp sims, but I was like, you know what? This is a sign. I should probably try this thing out, and I should probably, always be reconsidering the way I think about amp sims. Because I'm sure they get better all the time. Do 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 do. Here we go. I love that. I don't know even what's going on there, but I like it. Let's fade it in, get it a little more quiet in the front. Like a mullet. And then we'll let this thing just kind of go out into oblivion right here. You don't have to do this with just the vocals. Like you could do it with the guitar thing. You could do it with any of this stuff. Pick a thing, anything. Doesn't matter. Throw it over here. Hit it with some. I like to usually reverse it to make it sound different or weirder than whatever's in the track already. So my first step is generally reverse stuff, then process it in some way, then flip it back the other way, then the processing will happen backwards. You don't always have to flip it back the other way, but that's the concept for me of like grab any part of the song and you'll make it sound very different by flipping it and processing it backwards. And then you could leave it that way or not backwards, but and I kind of like the magic of what's there, so we're not doing anything else on this. I'm going to leave this alone and just let whatever happens take us to the ending. All right, we'll call that a day on that. Let's move to some automation station. The automation station, first let's check in with the chat real quick. Maybe make a reference to the spaceship song with the Galaxy Echo. It's true, the Galaxy Echo is all over this song though, Danny. Like it's on all my stuff because all the effects that I use on vocals have, like right now, 99100 is getting a feed from this lead vocal, and that's hitting a bunch of stuff down here like Galaxy Tape, the other tape echo also that I love so much, but Galaxy Tape is a part of all of these. On all the tracks, even like the backup ones have a Galaxy Tape on them most of the time. Doesn't look like there's one on that one, but yeah. I'm a huge Galaxy Tape fan. A lot of the stuff that's not in use over here, you'll find Galaxy Tape every once in a while on some of them. The guitar effects I like the most is like Cooper Time Cube. But Galaxy Tape, really cool plugin. Really cool. I mean, it's a cool hardware unit. And then they made a great plugin after the hardware unit. But yeah, flip this. That's what that should say. So yeah, let us move to automation and see what's popping, because there's not like I really want to mention I don't plan on doing a ton of balance changing here because I'm liking the way it's feeling. That's really all it comes down to for me. It's like, how does it feel? If it's good enough, it's good enough. Now these are our flavor tracks, so I'm just going to dump all these to the flavor VCA. Flav VCA. And now you could see what you've done or not by what's in this spot. If you didn't put anything here, it's not actually going anywhere. So like none is obviously a dead group. Nothing happening there. But that's cool with us because all we need is kick. I actually plan on, and I already have this thing, but it was set up to go tonight, but I unplugged everything when the thing started to bug out. I have an angle where you can see me automating stuff on the, like, as if you were like over the shoulder checking it out. So we're going to rock that in the next stream. I'll make sure to get that tested up and running. So I always go to touch, because if you have a good balance set, like if you notice all the volumes are at 0, because the volumes that have already been built in to these tracks are all where I want them. So because everything here is where I want them, if you notice, nothing exceeds 0. because I have 10 dB of headroom. When I get down here, you actually have 12 dB of headroom, but like I try to never get where it's maxed out most of the time. So the moves I might make in VCA automation on a song like this, where it's really solidly, I mean, we don't, like when I've been listening to it just now, it's like, does it need much? Hardly at all. So you're going to see me go real easy on this track in terms of what I do. It stays on touch so that if I need to bump the kick up a little, I can just do that for that second or two. Same with the fills. I might want to accentuate a fill, so bring it up and then let it go. When you let it go, it'll come down. Sometimes you might have to go back and like gradually bring it down, or bring it down in steps little by little, and then, you know, not bring it, just let go and it'll move too quick. You'll have to use your ear, but if you don't move it that much in the positive direction, it'll sound fine to just let it go. It's just a question of if you're moving it 6 dB and then you let go, you might hear like, oh, that got way too low. So it's just really a question of how much you move determines if you can just let it go and it will work. And there's nothing that makes you good at this other than practicing it. Like touch automation is very cool. So let's run one of those and see what's popping. Now what I'm going to do, if you notice, I'm going to move this very slightly. So like zooming in, you'll see my move on like that fill. Literally little pop, and then sometimes for the crash I'll keep it up. Sometimes I'll bring it down for the crash and just like let go before the crash. You know, it depends on whether you want to excite the cymbals or not. But I'll sit on the vocal while we play this through, so that if nothing changes hardly at all except the vocal, that would be fine with me also. Just a little bit of like ends of phrases, like the tails of the verbs. If I bring up the vocal a little bit there, it'll send more into the verb or the delay, and we'll get a little more of it on that backside. Let's hear it. All right, now those weird, like the flavor tracks, I'm going to bring that down like 5 dB or maybe 3 dB because they're too loud, and that's not on this track. So automating the vocal here has nothing to do with those tails. That's all the flavor track, and that's why it's easy to control the volume of it on the flavor fader. I'm gonna boost the little bit of guitar love and stuff in here, and let's see where if there's a fill, we'll hit that too. Little drum fill right up there, and then on the downbeat we got to hit him with the guitar. Bass and guitar together. That's why I've got 2 fingers out. Just a little bit of drum automation and some of the bass guitar stuff coming up here and there.
Don't stare at the sun for too long, boy. Your brain will melt. There's nowhere to run from the pain you felt. 'Cause once they take off from it.
It's feeling pretty good.
Don't stare at the sun for too long, boy. Your brain will melt. There's nowhere to run from the pain you felt. 'Cause
I want that.
pain you felt. 'Cause once they pain you felt. 'Cause once they take off from here, out of your parallel universal atmosphere, they can go to hell. Where you are and where you are, they can go to hell.
Make sure we don't lose the vocal there.
Atmosphere, they can go to hell. Where you are and where you are, atmosphere, they can go to hell. Where you are and where you are, into outer space.
The drum fader never got reset. Every once in a while, you got to catch that when that happens. This actually doesn't sound bad, so I'm going to go with it. Sometimes happy accidents are a good thing. Now, Andy Wallace used to automate the crashes on a lot of stuff, which you can do if your cymbals sound really good. If you have cymbals that are sounding okay or not so great, you try to automate the crashes. A lot of times you bring up the part of the song that I don't like a lot, which is white noise of cymbals. So automating crashes really works only when you want to hear more crashes because they sound good as far as I'm concerned. And in this case, they're loud enough. I don't feel the need to do it. I'm more inclined to automate tom fills and things like that because there's no tom mics. We have no closed tom mics. There's two overheads that are dealing with the entire top of the toms, tom city, rack tom, floor tom, hi-hat ride. It's all on the overheads. So bringing those up, brings up a lot when there's a fill. It's necessary to kind of hit them with a little of that, which for me is all on the drums VCA fader, which is basically everything but kick and snare. Let's make sure the instruments can be nicely heard here. I want to make sure I just bring that wherever it is. The tom thing that happens. He hardly plays the toms. The guy is a great drummer. This was latent because he's a great drummer because he knows when there's no tom mics, don't spend your whole life hitting those toms. When there's no tom mics up, make most of your cool fills on the snare. Like, it just helps. So the toms at the end of the song are cool. But if there was a lot of tom work on a song that didn't have close mic toms, it's not the best call. Now that most of the cool scream stuff is on the flavor track for this, so we put it there. So that's how we got to remember that. We got to come down gradually on that, or not come up as much on the guitar. I want to hear all that cool, like, all his fast kicks he's doing in there for the, he's got a lot of kicks going when he's doing the cymbal work. There's a lot of hi-hat on this kick. Where is it? Up here. Not hi-hat, crash cymbals. You hear that? That's all on the kick mic. Might want to gate that different, but I'm just going to bring it down a little so it's not so obnoxious. Let's get that scream up. All right, that works. I'm going to deal with that in a second. Try to stay nice and zoomed out over here. Let us see. The kick sounded good the rest of the track, so I don't want to go in and deal with gating it different or tightening that up. Like we just used something and went with it.
Don't stare at the sun for too long, boy. Your brain will melt. There's nowhere to run from the pain you felt. 'Cause once they take, don't stare at the sun for too long, boy. Your brain will melt. There's nowhere to run from the pain you felt. 'Cause once they take off, pain you felt. 'Cause once they take off from here, out of your parallel universal atmosphere, they can go to hell. Go to hell. Where you are and where you run into outer space. What you do and what you done into outer space and run.
I'm not sure how necessary this is, but the downbeats of a couple of these I just gave for the last chorus. I was like, might as well push him a little on the kick. So when he's crashing, there's that nice underneath it, that thud of the kick drum. So automating the kick on the crashes as well as the overheads is helpful sometimes. It's an easy kick pattern to duplicate, like to mess with on automation. So it helps. It's a very consistent kick pattern. Like right here, I don't want this cymbal to come up until that fill. So I'm just going to mess with that. You know, if the cymbals start getting you a little crazy, where are you automating? Is it coming up too much? Like they're coming up a dB. I don't need. There's that cool sound we like that happens out of nowhere sometimes. I don't know if you could hear that or if it's just on my end, but every once in a while the Ghost in the Machine goes, wow. It's actually this track that's doing it. Now, if you were to adjust the kick, which I don't think I'm going to because I like it a lot, but if I was going to do that, I would go up to the kick. I would say, all right, where is our gate? It's on this track, and it's set right here. So you could duplicate A to B and then just mess with the gate part of it on B, and then just, A and B, the two, to compare and see if you like that. A lot of times, with something like this, it's like, okay, you could also just like note some numbers and then go back to it. But if you just save it as a preset, like just make a preset of whatever you have here and call it, outer space kick mic or outer space kick track. You could always just revert to that preset and you could really go nuts, but just don't, if it was me, I wouldn't start twisting knobs when you're pretty happy. After automation phase, I wouldn't start twisting knobs without saving it, because you might want to get back to wherever it is that you just were, because very often it won't be better. We dialed this in at the time because it was sort of the best of both worlds. You only have 4 mics on the freaking drums, so if you make that kick sound like it's alone in a freaking box all by itself, I don't always like that sound. It gets very weird to me. Super, like, almost unnatural. A little bleed on all the mics isn't a bad thing, in my opinion, in my book. A lot of people who make stuff sound plasticky because they want everything to be all by itself. And to me, it's a plastic situation. Danny, we got that, we got triple aliens, because we are in outer space mode at the moment. So if you did want to save this, you could call this kick track outer space. 2 words. And now, kick track outer space. We could always get back here if we wanted to. And I know there's a lot of cymbal on it, but I'm okay with it because it punches through. Like, I never notice it until I'm riding it, maybe where it doesn't even need to be ridden. I'm liking that. I may just... just like on that riff. To make it go, oh, blana, blana, just a little blana instead of blana, the little blana. Hit it with a little pop. A little too much pop. Don't stare at the sun. Little pop never hurt nobody. And then we will let the chips fall where they may after that, because it's just this conglomeration of craziness. So that feels about right for me. I'm going to print one like this, and I'm feeling pretty solid with this thing now. I'm feeling like we're there. We are there. And we didn't do much. If you notice, most of what we've done here is little automation moves. Like, it looks like a lot, but it's not. When you come in here, this is 0.3 up. This is 1.8 up. So the highest thing up is like 1.8 on the base, then 1.6 up, 0, 0, 1.2. So at any given moment, I'm looking at this so you can kind of see how much things have moved. When it looks super tall, it's only moved 1.7. 2.9 is one of the bigger moves at the end of this chorus, because it was like a powerful moment.
Don't stare at the sun.
Also, I like the energy at the end of the chorus to be kind of high, and then the verse can tuck it in a bit. I like that. This is feeling pretty good. That's like the biggest move here. 2.2, like that 2.6 or whatever dB on the end of that. These are 1.6, 1.9, 1.2. So we didn't move much at, in the kick, slight movement, all this stuff, slight movement. The kick has more movement than most of the rest of the tracks here. And mostly just at this last chorus. I might have even moved it too much, but it felt right at the time. Feels pretty right, honestly. When it's not there, I want more. So when it's not there, I miss it there on that chorus. Let's hear this chorus. A little on this chorus couldn't hurt it. Nice. So I'm feeling it. I'm starting to feel it. Let us run this from jump. Where's our chorus? It's cool that there's very little vocal automation happening here. Like hardly any. Very, very slight. Danny Lyrica. Oh, we got Alex Christoph drums. What is poppin', Alex? How you doing, man? We had a crazy time with this stream today. Starting out was just a disaster. It was like the plane couldn't get off the ground. A word to the wise, duet display might wreak havoc on your system like it did mine until you uninstall it and then reboot your whole system from scratch. Nothing was able to go down. We had to diagnose, fix it, and we did. And we've just done some automation. And before that, we added a couple flavor tracks. We're going to be wrapping this up relatively soon. Yeah, there was getting ready for a long night of work. Nice, man. Long nights of work are fun. When it's this kind of work, like sessions, It's just fun, man. It's all fun. So let's, where are we at? Starting, ending. Let's print one of these things. I want to listen through on the print. And if it's done, it might be done. It's kind of feeling like we might be there. M2. Kind of feeling like there's not a whole lot of tweaking to be done. So let's see. Let's run one and see how it goes. For anybody who missed it, that stream was hilarious getting going because of exactly what I was just describing. The next time I'm going to have to use, a regular monitor, not an iPad, not duet display, and see what happens. Because now I've got zero confidence in both the iPad and duet display. And the reason it's got to be duet and not sidecar is because the iPad is mad old. It's just before that operating system update on, you can't make it OS 13. You need that for sidecar. So they probably fixed issues with that, but it doesn't help me much, unfortunately. Where are we putting this thing? That looks right. All right, we're going in the right place. Making sure we're not offline. Okay, 2496. Output. Good. All right, so just bear with me. Let's listen. I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm going to turn the mic on as soon as this thing's done rocking and rolling. Quick print, then jumping over to the chat to answer any questions or anything. All right, so bear with me. I appreciate it. Here we go.
If you wanna
All right, we are in business. You know, I like listening through from start to finish. A lot of times I'll make it like I'll change the lighting too to just sort of get me in a different headspace, change the volume, change the lighting, listen through. And then what I found is if you notice something, make a note in your mind. If by the time this track ends, you can remember whatever it was that you were thinking, it's real. And if it's by the time the track ends, if you can't remember whatever couple things you might have heard when it went by the first time, maybe it's not real. In my mind, the first time I heard the chorus, I remember thinking maybe the vocals could come up in that first chorus a little bit. And the only other thing that sticks out is at the end of the song during that crazy outro. And the reason it says outro, I could really break this song here, and then it could be outer space, and then, you know, like, I don't know, blast off ending. And those are two tracks. And then the freaking thing is like, you know, marooned in space is the ending to outer space. And the whole track will just start on this outro mark, whatever mark this is. You know, if I clicked here, I'd find out. Let's see. It's mark 7 for me. So it means if I start here, this could be its own track. And then that way you separate it. But I am from the old school of like, not every song is necessary to be 3 minutes long or 3:30. So like, I don't mind this song has this crazy outro on it. You know, it's just part of the track. I don't mind that either. But if I was going to break it, you could just break it right there and then just don't fade out. And if you put them next to each other, it should just go one to the next. And otherwise it'll sound like an abrupt ending, which may be okay too. You know, like I'm a fan of when I master stuff, like try to connect all the dots and put all the pieces together so that you really can't tell where one track ends and one begins. But if you start on like track 4 of something that's mastered like that, you might hear the remnants of the track before it while one track starts. That's like part of it. Like if a track ends with some weird like whoosh, 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 you could hear the whooshes when the next track starts. And if you just started there and never listened to the track before it, you wouldn't understand why it's there. So it almost beckons you to go back in time and check out that other song, and it like makes you invest a little more to figure out like what's this sound doing there. Like Pink Floyd stuff. They used to do that all the time. You know, like Animals is one of my favorite albums ever. But if you listen to that straight through, a lot of Pink Floyd songs, it's very, like there's remnants from the previous track that actually is a part of the beginning of the next one. And I love that. To me, that's cool. So what I was going to do is take the flavor up a little in the outro, which is why I mentioned it, because in this outro, I brought this stuff down like 6 dB. Where are we? Negative 6.7 dB. So I brought the flavor down so much, but in the outro, it couldn't hurt to have a little more of it. So I'm going to bring this up a smidge back to whatever, like -1, close enough to 0. And then when those weird flavor bursts happen, you'll hear them way more like this. Now you hear that stuff a bit more, which I don't mind. Just adds to the ambiance. So I don't plan on printing another one, but I'm definitely going to bring that up. Like I'll probably print another one later after the stream because it's such a little change that I don't see a need to like really go in and go too crazy with it. Like right here. So I basically just brought it up about almost 6 dB because it was negative 6.9, I think, or 6.7, and now it's -1, so just about 6 dB. And where are we at? And what else? The first chorus. So let's go to the first chorus, vocals only. I want to listen to those and just see if maybe we need to bump them up a touch. Because the volume here was really good prior to automation, but now that we brought guitars up a little, bass up a little, it might need a little more. Never heard a Fender sound that scary. It's, yeah, I mean, Scariness is cool, isn't it? And this is a combination of the Fender, and I could already tell there's some G and L in this thing. The G and L is like, who do you think of when you think of G and L? For me, I think of Alice in Chains. That's the most notable G and L user, in my opinion, I think, is Jerry Cantrell. So I'm just looking at any notes where I could tell what guitar. On this particular song, it looks like I didn't note it. Usually I would. I'd put it as part of the name just so I could remember what it was. But on this one, I didn't. I noted the mics. Dyne, Blue, these are mics. Octava, Dyne, the 58. It's like a different kind of 58. Blue, the blue mic, the blue Bluebird. So I just noted the mic choice. But I didn't note the guitar. And it sounds to me like the G&L. The G&L is a semi-hollow. So you get weirder kind of P90s on a semi-hollow with a Bigsby. That G&L is one of my favorite guitars. And it does. That's I think some of the eeriness you're hearing on this. Yeah, first chorus. Let's listen to that and vocals real quick. It's not a bad level. I'm going to save this. Let's just save this and then go to M3 version. I'm going to bump them a smidgen. Right now there's at 0 and then they go up to like less than a dB. Here we go, 1.2. Big whoop. Let's take these things up a little bit in some of the earlier parts of the chorus. Here we go. And then the flavor has a thing in the background here. Let's turn that up. It's very faint, so it doesn't really matter, the flavor thing. But let's turn the whole flavor track up a couple dB. Let's just see if we need it. We might not. Let's 1.5 dB. Yeah, this vocal should come down a smidge. I like it, though. I like it up a little. I'm just not a loud vocal kind of... I don't love loud vocals. It might be this I need to come up a little guitar bass. That works for me. So that's the deal. That's pretty much all I'm going to be touching on this track. The rest will leave it where it is, and we will call that a done deal. And if there's anybody... here we go. Alex Christoph. Bigsby is cool. Yeah, Bigsby is a weird tremolo. The reason I think Bigsby's so weird is because you have to use it the way it's intended to be used, which is like not a dive bombing tremolo. Like a Bigsby just doesn't sound like you can't dive bomb on it. It's not made for that. It's really made for like a way more subtle, fluttery kind of coolness. I love a Bigsby, but it's made for what it's made for. You really can't go over the top with it. My first experiences using a Bigsby coming off of a Fender Strat, and when I was young, I played a Jackson Charvel a lot, and it's weird. The type of music that like my favorite kind of music doesn't lend itself towards like liking a Jackson Charvel. But when I was like in my earlier era of guitar, I found it so fast and playable that it was a really good kind of catalyst to keep playing. And it was also a very interesting. It had a pickup mod on it where it was super like Les Paul on the neck pickup. It had a weird split on it where it could be very Fender sounding or very Gibson sounding. Like it had this combination. So I don't remember exactly what was different about it, but I remember when I turned on one of the pickups, there was a huge boost in gain where you almost wouldn't need a pedal to push over the top, and that was on the bridge pickup, and it was super bitey, and then the neck pickup, it had the ability to kind of do a Fender kind of thing. So it was useful to me, but I don't know why I started talking about that. It's just that thing had a Floyd Rose and a whirl, you could really get in there and be gnarly with it. But the Fenders, like similarly, when I started playing that, it's like, oh, it goes out of tune, but it's super, you could dive bomb all you want. And then when I started to use the Bigsby, the first couple of times, I was like, how am I supposed to use this thing? I kept like bottoming it out on the guitar, and I was like, I'm definitely not using this right. I take a Bigsby over a Floyd any day, way more character. Yeah, Bigsby's they're just cool. For what I like to do, they're cool. Like, so, the kind of music I like the most, I'd rather have that, like, I don't know. The tremolo on a Fender, though, like on a Strat, is probably my favorite because it's so versatile. So, like, you can kind of get it to do a Bigsby-ish thing, which gets close enough to that, but you also have more choices. So, I don't know. Something about, like, Fender tremolos are my favorite. I don't know. Like, the picture Jeff Beck, how he can articulate all the nuances of a vocal on, like, I read the news today. Oh boy, he's playing it on a freaking guitar with the tremolo bar, and he's just the way he's finger picking that combined with his subtleties. They're so good. So when I hear that, I'm like, there's nothing better than a Strat with the Bigsby on it. I mean, not the Bigsby. Why do I keep saying? Now I'm tripping over my words. The Strat with a regular tremolo on it that come with the Strat, and the way you're so close to the volume knob. There's just something magical about all the placement of everything on the Strat, that you can do volume swells with like your pinky. It's just everything's in the right place is how it feels. That's why I'm such a Strat fan. But new band, the Smidges, bump it up, bump it up a smidge. That's actually the Smidge. The Smidges is a solid name, to be honest with you. That's really Alex Christoph. I'm a fan of good names. That's a great name, the Smidges. Danny Lyrica, hey Jeff, you ever use Vocal Rider? I don't like Vocal Rider. I have used it. I know I own it still, probably because it comes with something I got at one point, but it's just part of like one of those plugins I don't like. There's some plugins that they're almost like that can't possibly do what I want it to do. And in every situation where you've tried it, I found that it comes up short. It's kind of like de-essing. Like, I like a bunch of different de-essers for when I need to throw something on that's trying to fix something that's easy to fix. But if you got a very weird sounding like vocalist and mic used, like if you got the combination and it's this perfect storm, nothing beats hand de-essing. I would argue that nothing beats hand de-essing most of the time if you have the time and patience for it. That's probably your best bet, because just like using Audio Suite, you can fine tune everything and really tuck in every part you want and make it exactly how you want. Nothing beats the hand de-essing. However, quicker, easier. You got to like a couple de-essers to get you in the ballpark, because I'd say everything doesn't need that. Even if you're going to do that on a lead, the backups don't need that. Like, you could slap a de-esser on and it should do the job most of the time, you know? So I look at Vocal Rider kind of like that. Like, if there's something that needs Vocal Rider, it's just the result always seems more desirable for me when I actually do it by hand. Otherwise, it doesn't actually ever feel like it's riding the vocal the way I would. It feels like just another form of, almost like it feels like a compressor working in a way that I can't control as well, is how it feels. It's like, yeah, the volume's coming up, but in this weird, like, I don't know. I just never liked it. I know some people like swear by stuff like that. I've heard of people using Vocal Rider on a snare drum, you know, like a sample of a snare to kind of make it. But if I was going to do that, if I want randomness, if I'm looking for something weird, I'll just pick up this pencil, throw it to the random, and draw in some crazy randomness on hi-hats or snare of like a weird sample that's not moving enough. I won't use a plugin like Vocal Rider, so I just find very little use for it. So I can't help but, be honest. I hardly ever use it. I remember the first couple times I used it, I thought it was okay for a while until I realized how much worse it is than just spending a few extra minutes on a fader. It's way worse. In my opinion, it's way worse, but I'm sure some people like it. Yeah, and if a vocal is super dynamic in terms of like what are we talking about? The recording was super, pokey and then not, and then pokey and then not. Well, you could fix some of that with clip gain, and then you would avoid the need to use it if it's like super loud part, super quiet part. I would lean on clip gain way before I do anything else. Break the clips, make them however you want to be able to handle it on a compressor where it's predictable. The compressor doesn't have to be doing 20 dB and then 1 dB or 2 dB. Like, it's more consistent. I would do it that way. But, like everything we do in audio, there's a gabillion ways to do things, and about, 500 million of them are fine. But yeah, I don't see the use. Yeah, you could add it as, look, you add it however, I like that as I see it more like some kind of a soft limiter, something to use as an add-on to my compression. That's what Danny's saying. Yeah, it might be a good call. It might be a good call. I don't I find doing the volume automation combined with clip gain, combined with little compression, feels always more like the way I want it to be based on what I hear in my head. Vocal Rider is it's a plugin that it kind of works in a weird way to me. It's unpredictable a little bit, hard to dial in, unless you have it doing very little, in which case I don't see the point really. Whereas I love doing it by hand. The result just, if you can do it by hand and use that, try them both and see what you prefer. Yeah, definitely clip gain. GDP is in the house. GDP is in the house. GDP, I can't wait to talk to you about what went down earlier today. I can't wait to talk to you about that, man. Are you in France still? Probably, right? GDP France. GD France. We were in the lurch because of Duet. And if you know what Duet is, it's like the old school version of Sidecar, and it's a third-party app that does not play well with others. And, what a disaster. But we had a lot of help. We had Little Interesting. We had Danny Lyrica. We had Braxel. We had help throwing it down and making it work. So it worked out just fine. But, we had to reboot. And in rebooting, the stream went by the wayside. But luckily nothing happened and then the stream went by the wayside. It just went by the wayside before anything could happen. I couldn't even click anything. Talk about a crazy disaster. Yep, yep. And the Nightbot is, it's part of the stream, but it's not because it hasn't shown up once. So I don't quite get where the Nightbot's at. But yeah, welcome. And what a crazy, we crashed this plane in the beginning of it, but it's okay. That stream is it was a necessary evil. I do want to hear more about strawberry trees, Braxel wrote before he went to bed. Yes. This is that's how we do. But yeah, this is that's what's up, man. Where are we at? We're in a funny place. We're in a funny place. The song is definitely, we've cooked it. We've cooked it to a point where there's nothing left to do. And this stream is way shorter than the last one because it was pretty close before I even started the stream. It was pretty much there. And this has less flavor on it than any of the other tracks that I've done in a long time. Speaking of that, I'm going to move these flavor tracks down below just so I can see where they are in relation to the VCA. So this flavor VCA, so that I can tell what, if anything, needs to be louder or lower, but very little in terms of the flavor, and we brought them down so much that they're pretty much buried now. That's actually something I want to just check out real quick. Like, can we hear it at all? I'm curious. Heard that one. That little frog in there, that don't mean it ain't ribbit. Let's bring that out of retirement. One of these non-ribbits. Let's bring a non-ribbit out of retirement. There we go. Let's bring 2 non-ribbits out of retirement. They're all ribbits, but these are different ribbits. And that's in honor of GDP in Japan. We've got the ribbit frogs. I mean, GDP in France. That makes more sense. GDP in France. This one just needs to be brought down a bit because it's taking over. That should do. Let me bump this one a smidgen. I could just raise it like this, actually. GDP was in La France. That's for sure. That is faux show. France, man. Best part about GDP going to France is I get a video showing Royale with cheese. So for anybody who's curious about it, there is a Royale with cheese on the menu. Of course there is, but who knew that that was a true story in Pulp Fiction? We kind of all assumed it, but who knew it was really a true story? And how did they not, like, you know, I mean, you think Quentin would have a problem with a little Pulp Fiction, like, something, a little symbol, a little logo, a little something next to that on the menu? I don't know. I think everybody needs to know about the Royale with cheese. Couple dB up on this jam right here. Cool track. Yeah, it wasn't. I appreciate that. It does sound as cool as the last time I mixed it, but it wasn't finished. Now it just has a little more life to it, as happens with a little bit of automation. So we've added automation, some flavor towns. That's about it. There was Royale with cheese. Jalapeno too. Oh, always get jalapenos on your burgers, everybody. Always. Always. Something I like to do is like the first 2 snare hits after a fill, I keep up, and then you won't even notice if they get a little lower. You might notice now that I'm telling you, but in a mix, and when you have no context and it's just you're in the dark, you're not looking at the screen. I love how Andy Wallace would put a loud snare hit in every once in a while. I love that. Like it's not even the predictable one. It's just sometimes the beginning of a chorus, beginning of a verse, somewhere in the bridge, right before a fill, right after. Just a louder snare hit here and there. Ooh, a little fill. Now, I could keep the cymbals up on this spot or bring them down exactly where they are. Listen. I don't like that loud cymbal. I just don't like it as much. It sounds more natural, though, than this. It just cuts it a little short, but I like it. Overall, I like it. Just maybe a little more gradual. There's a missed snare hit here. Now it sounds a little better. Nice. All right. Boogie, oogie, oogie, till you just can't boogie no more. Just checking the flavor. All right, little flavor up. That's all. Not even a lot either, like marginal here and there. It's just a little bit of life, a little bit of love. All right. There she goes. There she goes. Okay. Doo-doo, pop. All right. I think what I'll do is I'll stop it before the crazy ending, before things go. I don't want to do that. I can't stop it because then I won't have a print. I don't know if I need to print it again, but since it's like part of what we do here is like try to show the finished product, at least pre-mastering finished product. So, you know, I plan on going through and doing like a brief mastering day on these things where I just take them all, throw them all in one session and sort of, I'll show you what I would do to it to kind of create an album of stuff tied together, because that's fun for me. I like doing that too. And what else? Yeah. So we're pretty much there. The track is there. Let's print one right now. I don't know if GDP's still here. If he is, let's print one for GDP. Printing one for GDP as we speak. And this is our final work right here. And it's the M3 version. M3. 13, 14. Okay, all good. So let's turn the mic off. Print. I realized the mic was off. If you have any questions about anything, throw it in the chat. As soon as I'm done printing, we will be back in the chat to answer final thoughts, final questions, final anything you got. Here we go.
If you wanna believe
Well, Skynet is here. Finally. I have no idea why it just showed up. Alex Kristoff, that's the perfect position to be in when listening to Pink Floyd music. I found it works wonders. It's something about I don't know, the steam from the shower works really well with Pink Floyd too. Nightbot shows up out of nowhere. I don't think Nightbot made an appearance all freaking stream, which doesn't make any sense. Unless, like, I have the settings all wonked up. But at least it didn't spam us this time. And Nightbot is in La France, too? Danny, nah. GDP doesn't take Nightbot with him. They say it's good for your hip flexors. You know, speaking of that, the backstretch. Pop a backstretch in there, guys. Pop a backstretch in there. Nice. That was the final print. That is the one we shall use before mastering. That's the one right there. M3. Oh, spamming us, Nightbot, after not talking the whole time. Perfect. I wonder why. Insane. Yup. Anybody who has any questions, throw stuff in there. And I appreciate everybody joining us who's joined us tonight. This chat is like a fraction of the amount of help I received. This is what I want to say. The amount of help I received trying to diagnose why Pro Tools was bugging out on me. It's not Pro Tools, actually. It was this Duet sidecar thing was like clicking things that like I couldn't use my cursor. I couldn't do nothing. I tried to touch a menu to even quit or close the session. It wouldn't let me, so I had to resort to old school tactics, rebooting stuff. I quit Pro Tools and, trash preferences, put it back. Nothing helped. Ultimately, uninstalling Duet is what saved it, but so much help from Little Interesting, from Braxel, Danny Lyrica, and unfortunately, some of the names that I won't remember because it's on the last chat that we had to close and restart, but there was a lot of help, and people were awesome. You guys are the best, like getting me through the deal, because we got through it. And now we're rocking and rolling over here. So we got through this stream. This was a tough one because of that crazy. That nothing like that's ever happened yet. But I tried to add a second monitor thing to make looking at the chat easier, and wow, did that mess us up in the whole beginning. But it's okay. No mixing was done. Only diagnosing problems to get back to normal, and then rebooting. And that fixed it ultimately after I uninstalled it. So we'll get there. Yeah, this community is amazing, GDP. You guys are the best. And GDP, you're part of it. Alex Kristoff drums. You guys are awesome. So I just want to thank everybody. Alex Kristoff, Danny Lyrica, Little Interesting, Braxel, and everybody I forget. Because there was a bunch of help that was really awesome. So we will have another one of these coming up real soon. Sooner than you think, because now coming off this, this crazy one, I definitely want to drop another one real quick without any craziness in it. So I hope you dug it. Moat like not night plot. More like night plot. I almost got a stroke reading that, Alex. That was a tough one, dude. More like Night Plop. Yeah, I don't know why Night Plop is plopping like that. I don't understand. Like the whole time Nightbot didn't say nothing, and then all of a sudden it comes in at the end. Like, what's up with that? The whole thing's crazy. Yeah, Alex, you guys are awesome doing what you can over there. And it's about to be what is it? It's 2 a.m. right now. So we got this was a quick one. I like doing these like half stream each time kind of things where we start the song and then we finish it on the next one with nothing done. I don't do anything to the track while it's not streaming. So you get to see the whole process start to finish. We just break it up into two smaller streams. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, your screen has a mind of its own. I mean, yeah, I understand that full well. The screen mayhem we had today was nuts. Yeah, we should go live mad soon, and we will. So stay tuned. The next one will be a little more predictable, a little more easy to. It won't have that amazing fun train wreck in the beginning like the one before this one did. So that's why this one started a little different. Even the first 5 or 6 minutes of this are probably just me staring at the screen, trying to load it up, being like with my fingers crossed, hoping it works. So hopefully the next one will be less eventful in that regard. But you guys are awesome. Definitely want to thank everybody and anybody I forgot who was a part of helping me get there on the one that we, ixnayed on because we had to reboot. I appreciate that more than you guys know. So thank you. And thank you, GDP, for coming through. Even though you're just waking up in Barcelona, I just noticed that. That's insane. You're all over the place, which is amazing. GDP Barcelona, GDP France, GDP Japan. We don't know if he's cloning himself either, or if it's just, or maybe there's multiple GDPs. I hope not. There can only be one, because if there was more than that, then the one would be less special. So don't clone yourself. If anybody's considering cloning themselves, don't do it. A little interesting. I really appreciate all the help you hooked it up. I mean, you really hooked it up, dude. Because in the beginning, you were giving me thorough, try this, the real thorough answers. So that was awesome. And so was everybody else. And I tried everything you suggested, and we got through it. So that's awesome. Alex says, let the chat run till the stream ends and just let in weird strangers from the internet. It doesn't work that way. As far as I know, as soon as I hit, I never kill the chat. I never cancel it. All I do is stop the stream, and then as far as I know, that's where the chat ends. I don't think it can, I don't think it continues for more than a minute, or if that. I'm not sure how it works, but I never hit stop on the chat. I just hit stop on the stream. So who knows? But I appreciate that, GDP. You guys are awesome. So you'll catch me again mad soon. Look out for that notification if you want to see the next one of these, because there's plenty more coming. Funky, alternative, old school flavored. And some stuff is I already have some stuff on the docket that I plan on sharing once I get all the permissions in order for it. That's kind of other artists doing their thing. And it's a departure from some of the stylistic stuff that I've done here a lot. So it'll be cool. If that happens, that'll be cool. And it should be soon if it does. So stick around for that. And it's going to be awesome. So you guys are awesome. Everybody's amazing. Just keep in mind, all right? You guys got this. This is a you guys got this situation. That's what it is. You mix it, and even if you start something and it falls apart, like what happened with the beginning of the stream, you just roll with the punches. It's just part of it. It happens. And you worry about it on the next one. You clean it up. Other than that, it's all good. So you guys are amazing. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking it out through all that craziness. I really appreciate it. All right? Coming at you soon. If you got ideas for videos, throw them at me, by the way. Throw them in a comment on one of my new videos. And if you didn't yet, post your favorite albums on there. I want people to look at that video and look at what people like. I'm curious if I get the same names. Any new artist I've never heard of that somebody thinks is their favorite artist. I'm always interested in what that is. So if you haven't seen that video, catch that. I just dropped that yesterday. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Thanks for watching, sticking around, enjoying. Catch you guys soon. Take it easy.